are back. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Triple Threat Talk. I'm your host, Connor Ryan. Today is episode 20. It is going out on January 17th, Friday. I hope all of you are doing well today. Sorry for the little bit of a hiatus. I will be completely honest. I didn't record an episode on Monday because I was watching football with my dad, and I also forgot it was Monday. So it is what it is. But I mean, honestly, let me know if you like the one episode a week format. I wouldn't be mad if you wanted me to reduce it to one episode a week, but just let me know. If you want to let me know, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Talkin' Triple. Please feel free to subscribe, like, comment on the YouTube page, still on Spotify if you listen on there. Other than that, I mean, let's get right into it. Got no questions today. No extra things to talk about at the end. Just going to run through the games. We actually have, I think, 15 games to cover. Or, sorry, just 12. Just 12. I know tonight, Thursday night, some of the games wrapped up. I will talk about the Thunder versus Cavs game, as that one ended earlier tonight. The Thunder defeated the Cavs 134 to 114. But I will talk about that at the end of the episode. Again, please like and subscribe. If you enjoy this content, please let me know. Because if you don't, then, well, shit. I don't know. Let's get right into it. First game up, the Boston Celtics defeated the New Orleans Pelicans in a thriller contest, 120 to 119. Jason Tatum led the way with 38 points, 11 rebounds. Kristaps Porzingis, 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Jaylen Brown, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. I will deal with the concerns that I have with the Celtics in the later matchup that I talk about them with, but a big win, They needed this one, responding off of a really bad loss last Friday against the Kings, in which the Celtics just struggled from not only just shooting, but defensively, lack of rebounding, but get a big win against a Pelicans team who has immensely struggled this season. But Jason Tatum, 38 points, huge performance from him, got his usage rate up. Shout out to Celtics Twitter for that one. Kristaps Porzingis continues to showcase his dynamicness on not only the offensive end, but the defensive side of the ball. And even though I know a lot of Celtics fans were expecting more, especially from players like Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown. And as I said, I'll talk more in depth about it in a little bit in terms of later in the episode. But it's the NBA. You're going to run into tough teams. You're going to run into tough competition like the Pelicans. And say what you want about the Pelicans record. Very good team. If you were to tell me that at the beginning of the season, a team that consists of DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy III, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum, and Brandon Ingram, who I know is injured right now, and also Herb Jones, who is also injured right now, if you were to tell me that they would start out 10-32, I wouldn't believe you, but they are. And I think a lot of that just has to do with injuries. A lot of the dialogue with the Pelicans was like, I didn't have them in the upper tier of the West because the West is so tough. It's so deep. But when you look at it, like, there were some clear favorites coming out of the West. It was going to be the Thunder. It was going to be the Grizzlies. The Nuggets are obviously proving that they are a top team still. The Mavericks, everything like that. As much as you can downplay the Pelicans, they're still a very good basketball team. They just got bit by the injury bug really badly. I don't think they've had a single game this season where all their main 5 or 6 guys have all been playing. And by 5 or 6, I mean Murray, Murphy, Zion, CJ, Herb Jones, and Brandon Ingram. Those are 6 guys that win you basketball games. And unfortunately, they just haven't had the injury or the health success to keep them around. But in this game, DeJounte Murray continued to play like he does against the Celtics with 26 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Trey Murphy with 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Zion with 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals. I mean, they're a solid basketball team. Nobody gets the NBA without being an NBA caliber player. And that's what the Pelicans are full of. I get why people are like scoffing at this win for the Celtics, but let's be real. A win is a win. Nobody's going to be looking back and saying, oh, well, you only beat the Pelicans by 1. It's like you win by 30. It's the same value as if you win by 2 or 1 or win in overtime. Like, I mean, the Pelicans had a shot to win this game. CJ McCollum had a layup, great defense from the Celtics to close it out and inevitably get them the win. As much as people want to say like, oh, the Celtics didn't play well let me just read you the stats. Yeah, the Celtics didn't play great because guess what? They shot less than 30% from 3. And what did the Pelicans do to counteract that? They shot 46% from 3. For reference, the Pelicans have the 25th ranked 3-point percentage in the league at 34. So they shot 12 points better on average than they usually do. And, well, they shot 12 points better than they usually do from 3. Caused turnovers. They beat the Celtics in the turnover margin. Celtics rebounded better, but it doesn't really matter. Celtics got the win. I'll get into my whole thoughts on the Celtics in a little bit, but we're going to move swiftly on. Just for reference for everyone, I am recording this pretty late. It is 11:30 on Thursday, the 16th. I'm going to the Magic Celtics game tomorrow with my boy Andy. Clyde. Very excited about that. And that will be a part of the next episode of the pod. But we are going to keep rolling on. Next matchup, the Indiana Pacers went to Cleveland and defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 108-93. Pascal Siakam led the way for them with 18 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Andrew Nembhard, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. And Miles Turner with 15 points and 10 rebounds. Big win for the Pacers. Without Tyrese Halliburton, who has definitely been stepping it up as of late, you look at this team and say, what was the reasoning for their slow start? It was just a slow start. That's all it was. They're really finding their groove. And when you play the Pacers, it's always going to be tough to stop their offense. You either have to have incredible defense or just be lucky that they miss some shots. And that's just sometimes what the case is. And in all honesty, they didn't shoot the lights out like incredibly well. Shot 32% from 3, 62% from the line, 10 turnovers, 47% from the field as a whole, and not a single person over 20 points for them. But what actually happened? They had 6 players in double figures, 3 of which 15 or more, and they used their ball movement, and they honestly played pretty effective defense because the Cavs actually shot less than 40% from the field and less than 27% from 3. So you almost look at the Pacers and say it's the perfect example of what the Heat were what the Heat have been for the past couple of years. A team that you just do not want to face in the playoffs. Incredibly high octane offense, well coached team by Rick Carlisle and his staff. And you just kind of like look at the dynamic of that team and you really wonder, can they make another push? And the answer is yes. Like the Pacers have the resources, the Pacers have the dynamic of a team. They are all in with one another. They aren't going to try and push others out of the way in order for one of them to succeed. And I think I know they haven't had the most successful season so far, especially with the standards of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they are 6th in the East. They're 4 games above 500 as of today's recording, and they're 7-1 in their last 8 games. And if you want to have the question of like, are the Pacers legit? The answer is yeah. Like they're a very good team, very good ball club, and I think they're catching their stride right in the moment that they need to. For the Cavs, I mean, Evan Mobley led the way, 16 points, 12 rebounds. Darius Garland, 20.7 assists. Donovan Mitchell, 19 points, 3 rebounds. 1 assist and 2 steals. Jared Allen even had 11 points, 9 rebounds. But the reason why they have had such a good record is because of the production off of their bench. Ty Jerome was out of this contest. But excluding those four, excluding the main four, the highest scorer was Georges Niang with 7. Other than that, Karis LeVert 2, Sam Merrill 3, Isaac Okoro 3, Dean Wade 3. It was very much the dynamic of the Celtics last season. It was like you knew the main 4 or 5 would have the good game. It was the question of, would you get the production from your other guys as well? And I'm all in on Cleveland. I want that on the record. I think that they are the biggest threat to the Celtics by far. Sure, you could say the Knicks just based on a starting 5, but like, again, you can't just win with only 5 guys. Shut up, burgers and fries. But the main thing is, it's just the aspect of like, when we look at playoff performance, how much playoff performance does Dean Wade have? Sam Merrill, Isaac Okoro, Georges Niang, like consistently, at least. Karis LeVert. I know Karis LeVert has had moments, like consistently. So that's kind of where my biggest issue with them is. I saw I think it was Bleacher Report said they said that the GM from the Cavs was like reluctant on if he wanted to make a move at the deadline and see if it would affect team chemistry. Here's my thoughts on that. Team chemistry will always be solid if you're winning. I know they just lost to the Thunder, but it's like, I don't think anybody would have an issue with like having to readjust team chemistry if it meant that they were going to win more. I'm not saying that they were going to go out and get Cam Johnson. I don't think they have the pieces to do that, because I don't think they want to give up because they're not going to give up one of their main 4. Not at all. I don't think they would want to give up Niang. I don't think they want to give up LeVert. So you kind of question, all right, are we going to give up Merrill? Probably not. We're going to give up Isaac Okoro, who just signed a contract here, who's a pretty team-friendly contract, in fact. Probably not. So I don't know. I just don't think I don't know. I just don't think the Cavs need to make a move. I don't think they will either. And with that, I just think this was just a pure, like, hey, we missed shots game. Like, it's as simple as that. So, I mean, huge win for the Pacers, especially going into Cleveland, which has been extremely difficult to win in this season. And the Cavs are a legit team, even with this loss. But I know that we'll talk about this matchup again in a little bit. But big win for the Pacers nonetheless. Final matchup from Sunday, the Orlando Magic. Whoa. They defeat the 76ers 104-99. First off, thank God Paolo Banchero is back. This actually looks like a reasonable offense for once. No, I'm just playing. No, it's great to see him back. Glad he recovered. Glad he's healthy again and is able to provide for this Magic team, this bright, young, talented Magic team who has also been bitten by the injury bug pretty badly. This was his second game back. He played on Friday, the last Friday, against the Bucks, in which I think he scored 34 points. So pretty nice first game back for Banchero. But Cole Anthony led the way for them with 27 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Jonathan Isaac, 20 points, 11 rebounds. Paolo Banchero, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. And Anthony Black, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. The Magic, I would say, I know obviously not in terms of certain players, but in terms of a team dynamic, I'd say the Orlando Magic are the Oklahoma City Thunder of the East. Very much a little bit different in terms. Actually, no. Actually, similar. Yes. Hold on. Let me work it out here. Led by 2 young superstars, or one superstar, SGA Paolo, with a 2-man, very talented all-star level, Chet and Franz Wagner, and then just like a scrappy defense third player who also can put up 20 points a game, Jalen Williams, Jalen Suggs, both named Jalen. Coincidence? I think not. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, Goga Patatse, big, tall, powerful defenseman. And then you just interior defender. And then you just have like the scrappy pieces around them. Like you have Lou Dort, your 3-and-D guy, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I mean, I know ball. Mark Davenport and Jamal Mosley, two very underrated, high-powered, like culture-building head coaches as well. So the Magic, just the most impressive thing with me for the Magic was just their ability to and this was my biggest question when Paolo went down was, or more specifically when Franz went down. When Franz went down, or when Paolo went down, Franz like really stepped up, showed that he was an all NBA caliber player, averaging 25 plus points per game, 10 plus rebounds, just being the engine of that team. He goes down, and the Magic were looking like, oh God, like how are they going to survive? Like, are they really going to be one of the top teams in the East? And I think it actually got a lot scarier, the fact that they were able to stay in like the 4 slot fourth or fifth for majority of the time that Franz was out. And now you get Paolo back, you get him initiated into the offense again. I think Franz will be back within the month of February, so the Magic are a team I would not want to face. I really don't. They're talented, very strong defensively. They're young, they're aggressive, they're quick. They're a team that I do think that they're going to be the Indiana Pacers of the season, where it's like, if you see them in the playoffs, you are going to have problems, and it's not going to be fun. It won't. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Magic. For the 76ers, Paul George led the way, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Tyrese Maxey, 29 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. And Eric Gordon, 14 points, 4 rebounds. When I say lead the way, I'd say is like the main contributor, not just like the leader in points. Like when I use the Reel app, download Reel, and it will calculate a score for like their impact on the game. And most of the time it isn't just like if you have a 30-point scorer versus a 25-point scorer who also got like 8 rebounds, 7 assists, compared to the 30-point scorer who just got like 2 assists and 3 rebounds. The 25-point per game scorer is going to be valued a little bit higher, which I think is needed and relative. So, for the 76ers, I mean, as much as there are the they're just struggling, like they need to get healthy talks, like I mean, yeah, like Joel Embiid hasn't played his last 6 games, and I get it, like in the games that he is, like generally like he's playing pretty well. But I mean, other than will we see at any point a consistent 10-game stretch where Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey are all playing? Like, I don't think we will. I really don't. And I think a lot of that has to do with the management of Joel Embiid's his body. I think a lot of it also has to deal with just the management of Paul George and then Tyrese Maxey, because you don't want to run all of them dry. But it's the aspect of like, if you go into say, God forbid, or say hypothetically, not God forbid, say hypothetically, the 76ers make the playoffs, right? If they make the playoffs, the longest, or I know they don't play back-to-backs, but they play every other day. And so, like, will we even get a series where, like, say if it goes 6 or 7 games, will we see all 3 of them on the court at the same time? Like, I just don't think Joel Embiid is going to be available for the later part of the season. Like, I was talking to my dad about this while we were at dinner, and it was just like late game or late season gel matters. Like, it doesn't matter if you end up playing it doesn't matter if you're playing the Hornets or the Raptors or the Nets or the Blazers or the Pelicans or whoever it is, whoever like those low ranked teams are. It doesn't matter. Like you have to be able to play them. And those are the games that you can help build your chemistry at. And if you do, then that's only going to benefit you. But I know these are all injuries, but in this game alone, Jared McCain is confirmed out for the season. Horrible news. But Kenyon Martin Jr. didn't play. Caleb Martin didn't play. Andre Drummond didn't play. Joel Embiid didn't play. Kyle Lowry didn't play. And then, I mean, I'll even bring up another game I'm going to talk about them in which they played the Knicks. No Lowry, like literally the exact same six. Like, I understand injuries are a part of the game, but I can't look at a 76ers fan and say, yeah, I have confidence in them and like hold a straight face because I don't. It'd be different if it was like, hey, they started out the season really hot and then because of injuries, they've fallen off. There have been plenty of times where all three of them have played. There have been. And it's not working. And I know it's the fun thing to do where it's like, is Paul George the worst contract of all time? Like right now, no, because we don't know the extent of what's going to happen next. But say, hypothetically, like, I don't know exactly like what Joel Embiid's contract situation is. I'm going to pull it up right now. But say, hypothetically, he signed a 3-year, basically damn near $200 million deal that will keep him there until 2029. With that being said, and he's already currently on a 4-year, $200 million. Jesus. With that being said, it's like okay, so that's like cap wise. All right, awesome. You have $200 million going to your guys, or you have $100 million going to your two guys who very rarely can consistently stay healthy, who very rarely can perform in the playoffs. Like, yeah, that's great. That's great for me as a Celtics fan. But I mean, it's just the aspect of like when you look at these two, when you look at the dynamic of the 76ers roster, does that look like a winning basketball team? No. On paper, sure. When you're playing 2K and you have no injuries on or whatever it is, and you have three incredibly talented guard scorer in Tyrese Maxey, you have one of the best big men in the last 5-10 years in Joel Embiid, and you have a player who has been both a superstar / all-star caliber player for 10 plus seasons in Paul George. Yeah, that's a good team. But when you get onto the court and Paul George, who was struggling for majority part of the season so far, Tyrese Maxey has been having to carry the workload, and then you just don't have like a lot of bench production, that doesn't really like work in that team. And so could the 76ers make the playoffs? But as of right now, I don't see it. And it's going to take a lot of convincing to prove me otherwise as of right now. So I don't know. We shall see. So next game up, first game from the Monday slate, the Detroit Pistons defeated the New York Knicks 124-119. If you know me, if you've listened to any episode on this podcast where I talk about the Pistons, I'm a huge fan of their culture. I think JB Bickerstaff has been a huge addition to them. I think he has really helped identify what this team is needed. I think he has identified the correct game plan on how this team will work. And most importantly, some of their off-season acquisitions have been massive. Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, and just they're playing winning basketball. Cade Cunningham, though, led the way, 36 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, which watching Cade play, that's pretty low, but like still just an unreal performance from Cade in the Garden. Malik Beasley, 22 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. 6 of those points could not have come at a better time, one of which I think gave them a 3-point lead, and then one of them was basically the dagger at the end of the game, in which Cade had the ball at the top of the key on the right side. Jalen Duren set a screen, forcing a double onto Cade so they could try and get the ball out of his hands. Poor defensive rotation doesn't happen right away. Ball gets swung to Duren. Duran then swings it to Malik Beasley, open corner three, bang. And those are the two biggest shots in the game, and they were on back-to-back sets, the exact same play. And Tobias Harris, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Not the best shooting night for Tobias, but still, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. That will never go unnoticed. The Pistons are fun again, man. Like, they are a fun basketball team to watch. A lot of it has to do with Cade Cunningham. I know Jaden Ivey is injured, but with this team, you can just sense that they are enjoying playing basketball again. It isn't something of like, oh, gotta play the Pistons. Great. You have to watch the Pistons play basketball. No, the Pistons are a fun team to watch. They're a good team. They're above 500. I think they've already blown the win total out of the water compared to last season. And it just looks like they care. Like, I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to being in a situation where, like, your team isn't succeeding as much as you want them to. Like, Cade Cunningham, for those of you that don't know, Cade Cunningham was the number 1 player in the country in the class of 2020. He went to Montverde, which is a basketball powerhouse. Cooper Flagg went there. Scotty Barnes went there. Who else went there? Day'Ron Sharp, Caleb Houston, RJ Barrett, very notably went there. And so when you look at his success, number 1 player in the country, was on arguably the greatest high school team of all time, goes to Oklahoma State, is the number 1 player easily for them. Huge success for him and that team. Gets drafted number 1 overall. And, it's just like, all right, sweet. I'm going to the Pistons, who haven't been good for a long time. And he has shown that he wants to be there. He has shown that he cares about this city, about the franchise. And to have their success and to finally receive the fruits of their labor, it's awesome. It really is. I am a huge fan of Cade Cunningham. I always have been, and I always will be. But to see winning basketball back in Detroit, more importantly, it's awesome. I caught the tail end, like truly the tail end of like the championship team, because I started watching basketball consistently in 08, and that was around the time, or I think it was a year later, when Chauncey Billups went to Denver to play with Melo and Allen Iverson and J.R. Smith, Kenyon Martin, all them. And so to see the Pistons kind of get back to their roots of like being a successful franchise, it really does like make me smile, for sure. Like, there are just certain things where you just like if you ask anybody who is like my age or younger, or even around my age, who maybe have gotten into basketball more recently, or I'd say honestly just within like the last like 10-15 years, you would just assume that that the Pistons have always been bad. But the bad boys in the late 90s or late 80s, early 90s, and then you get like the miracle run with Larry Brown in 0304. Or was it 04? No, it was 0304. 0304. And so just like a huge win for the Pistons. Like, it just really is. Now, for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists. Mikal Bridges, 27 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Josh Hart, 12 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. And Karl Anthony Towns, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. My concern will always be just their lack of bench. I understand the importance of having your like a good starting 5. I'm very aware, but, and this is a crazy suggestion, is it really that bad if you were to start like Jericho Sims in for like OG Anunoby? Let OG take over as the second bench, as the second unit guy. And I know Mitchell Robinson is trying to still get healthy, but we don't really know exactly when he will be back. And like even Knicks fans don't really know that. It just seems like it's getting pushed off more and more and more. But like the Knicks have so much talent, it's just the lack of support from anyone else. Like I'm gonna pull up the box score. So as I said, Brunson 31, Mikal Bridges 27, Josh Hart 12, Karl-Anthony Towns 26, OG Anunoby 10 points, right? You have 13 bench points, 10 of which came from campaign. 13? Like really? I mean, like just it doesn't make sense. Like it's not like I understand Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau has a formula to what works. But let's be completely honest. This was the formula that got Derrick Rose hurt. It was the formula that pushed Jimmy like out of Minnesota. It was the formula that just we keep seeing the formula. Hey, we're going to play our starters. Karl-Anthony Towns played 40, and I get it. He was extremely useful for all 43, but that isn't winning basketball. Like, for example, Cade Cunningham, highest score in this game, 36 points, 32 minutes. The highest total minutes for a single player on the Pistons was Tobias Harris with 36. That would rank 6th in total minutes played for the Knicks team in that game. Like that is like, imagine, like, I understand they get paid millions of dollars to run around, dribble basketball, and to have fun. But when it is your job to dribble basketball professionally, you have obviously a lot more pressure. And when you are told, hey, you have to play 90% of this game, and if you don't, we have a high chance of losing. Wouldn't that kind of mess with your ego just a little bit? Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, probably. Because it isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. I said it in the last episode. I think it was the last episode. I can't remember. Nobody's asking you to play campaign for 30 minutes. Nobody's asking you to play Tyler Kolek for like 20 or to even like 20 minutes. Play him 15. See if he sparks something. Give your guys a rest. Oh my God, Tibbs. It's pretty ridiculous. The Knicks are very talented. They're a very good team. But it's just like, they aren't very strong defensively. They really aren't. They have one of the better offenses, so that's like where they are able to reward themselves. I would hope you have one of the best offenses when you play your 5 guys for the entirety of the game, basically. I don't know. Next matchup, the Rockets defeated the Grizzlies 120-118. Jalen Green led the way for the Rockets. 42 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Amen Thompson, being the Swiss Army knife that he is, 19 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 5 blocks. And Alperen Sengun, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. The Rockets continue to impress me, man. Like, my big thing has always been their offense, their lack of scoring at times, yada, 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 whatever you want to call it. But when you have a game from Jalen Green, and this is the Jalen Green that can be unleashed, and if you get him like this for a full season, this is all-star quality. Just really high efficiency, really good scoring totals. 42 points on 72% shooting, 11 of 11 from the line. That is value. Limit turnovers, also a plus. Like, only 3 turnovers in this game, which I know 3 is a good amount, but for Jalen Green, that's not a lot. But 5 of 6 from 3, 92% true shooting. Like, that is huge. And you allow Amen Thompson to be the Swiss Army knife that he is. You allow Sengun to be the crafty mini Jokic that he can be. And then you get bench value, Cam Whitmore, and then you get other players, Dylan Brooks. I hate you, Dylan Brooks. Sorry for the quick random sidebar right there. Dylan Brooks, I despise. Anyway, moving on. And even doing this without Jabari Smith and Tari Eason, 2 very important players to this team, and beating a healthy Grizzlies team. Emphasis of healthy. I know they were without Marcus Smart, Vincent Williams, Gigi Jackson, Cam Spencer, but still, the meat and potatoes of that Grizzlies squad were playing. And to have a win like that, in which you were down, and come back and beat a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, That is huge. It's massive. Like it's those wins that you really bring your franchise back and say, "Hey, we have a shot at this. We are a legitimate team that deserves to be in this position." It enhances your confidence so much more than people realize. It's a young team beating up a team that has been commonly known as a contender in the West for the past couple of seasons. If you have Ja Morant, if you have Jaren Jackson Jr., if you have Desmond Bane, and you add on the pieces that they have, Zach Edey, Santi Aldama, Jay Huff, I feel like I'm blanking on a big one, Jalen Wells, Brandon Clark. When you get all those guys, that is a winning team. And when you are a young team like the Rockets and you beat them, and not just in a defensive battle, that's huge. The Rockets shot 52% from three. Like, that's awesome. It's great for them. So I think I don't really have like anything negative to say on the Grizzlies. I think they played the game that they needed to play. Like, sure, you can critique some things. Like, oh, didn't really shoot that great from three. They shot 44%. They didn't shoot great from the line, and they also didn't get to the line as much as the Rockets did. Less turnovers than them, sure. The rebounding total isn't great. They got out-rebounded by 9. They had 7 less assists. 13 less assists. This was just a really good basketball game. Like, Desmond Bane, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Ja Morant, 29 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Jaren Jackson Jr., 17 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. That's like my only issue is Jaren Jackson Jr. should rebound the ball better. But other than that, like, I would say sometimes the lack of rebounding just comes from his defensive versatility. He's asked to switch a lot on screens. He's going to be pulled out, but he also has the ability to guard a defender or a forward out on the wing. This was a great game. I don't have any issues. Shout out both teams. That's all. That's really it. Last matchup from Monday. Sorry, looking ahead to Tuesday already. Silly me. Excuse me. The San Antonio Spurs dog walk. The Los Angeles Lakers, 126-102. Victor Wembanyama. I'll stay positive for the Spurs, and then I'll. Victor Wembanyama, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. The classic Wemby game. Devin Vassell, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Stephon Castle, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. This is just who the Spurs are now. They have very solid defense. They have the tools to where they can win these games. Harrison Barnes also provided 17 points. Chris Paul, double-double with 4 steals, 13 points, 10 assists. And when you have a team like the Spurs that is incredibly young, led by Wemby, Devin Vassell is young, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson is like in like that weird tier of like young, but also a vet on that team. But when you have 2 savvy veterans in Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul on that team, that allows you to slow things down. Doesn't really like 2 very good mentors to have. They were also without Jeremy Sohan in this game, and you look at this, 10 turnovers in the entirety of the game compared to the 19 that the Lakers had. That's huge. Converted at the line very effectively. Shot pretty well from 3, but most importantly, shot above 50% from the field as a whole. You out-rebounded them. You got better playmaking and better assist totals. You got more blocks, and you had 16 steals as a team. The Lakers had 9. That's winning basketball. Now, do I expect the Spurs to make the playoffs? Probably not. But let's be real. Is that the best thing for them? Probably. If you get another like top 10 pick, I'm also pretty sure that they have like multiple picks in like the first round. Let me check. They have their own. They have Atlanta's. I thought they had one more, but maybe just because of teams not playing great. Yeah, I don't know. But still, like, you get 2 guys in lottery or around lottery range Those are going to be contributing players. And contributing players to a team with Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Greg Popovich as a coach. Like, that is huge. I understand the aspect of, hey, we want to win. I get it. And this is a big win. Nonetheless, when you have the opportunity to build around a generational type player in Victor Wembanyama, you should. Not saying to purposely lose games, because if you have the games like this, that's awesome. If you make the playoffs, that's great. But what I'm trying to say is more so, it's not that big of an issue if you don't, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying to tank, but I am also saying it's okay. Don't worry. So, but I mean, I'll get to the real reason why I picked this game. Anthony Davis, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. LeBron James, Matt, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Austin Reeves, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Let's pull up the stats. This is where I have a tough issue with the media. And this is where I have a tough issue with LA fans as a whole. Every year since LeBron came to them, it has been, yo, we're a contender. Don't doubt us out. And we've always said, okay, sweet, you're a contender. You're in the contender slot. And they were. They won the bubble championship. As much as people want to say it's fake, they won it. Like, people are only saying it's fake because it's LeBron. Like, let's be completely honest. If Giannis won it, if Jokic won it, if Jimmy won it, oh my God, if Jimmy won it, that'd be crazy. But it's LeBron, so that's just scrutiny. So I understand players have off games. I do. But it's not great when Cam Reddish goes 1 of 7 from 3. It's not great when Dorian Finney-Smith goes 1 of 4. Dalton Connect 1 of 5. In fact, those 3 players combined for 2 of 11 from 3. You want to throw in Gabe Vincent? 3 of 14. God forbid, throw in Max Christie. Bring that up. You bring that number to 5 of 22. 14 of 44 from 3, 19 turnovers. And you shoot 63% from the line. The Lakers are falling. They're falling fast. I don't know what needs to be said by anybody. I don't know if there needs to be internal checks. I don't know if there needs to be... I don't know exactly what needs to be said. But I'll say this. The Lakers aren't going to... I don't think they're making it to the second round of the playoffs this season. I really don't. Do I think they make the playoffs? Probably. Because they have arguably the best duo in the NBA right now. But let's be completely honest. This duo ain't lasting much longer. And I think, sure, a lot of that has to do with LeBron's age and retiring probably after next season. But, in all honesty, there were talks where Anthony Davis was going to be an MVP type season at the beginning of the season. He was playing really well. LeBron was playing up to par. It's not going to work if you have those 2 guys only. This is not going to work. And the tough part is, it's the pressure of LA. It's always been the pressure of LA. Kobe thrived in the pressure of LA because he knew that if there was someone to blame, he understood it was him. It was as simple as that. He knew it was the aspect of, hey, I know I'm the player here. I know I'm the guy. And if I don't, then that's a bigger issue more than anything. So when you have a situation like this, there is the aspect where you can, oh my God, shout out Delano Banton. Season high 23 points. That's my goat right there. Sorry for that. But when you look at a situation like the Lakers, a team that will only want to be in win now mode, they don't ever want to go through the rebuild of to 2019. They don't ever want to go through those 2 seasons ever again. They don't. It's a simple, I love JJ Redick. I do. I think I'm not saying he should have took the Charlotte job. Not saying that. I don't think that job would have been great for him either. But he really chose to throw himself into the fire. Is he handling the fire well? Yes, he is. As a person, as a coach, yes. But Lakers fans will never be happy unless it involves a ring. And that's just how it is. It's as simple as that. They made the move. They got rid of their scapegoat. So who's it going to fall on now? Who's this 32% from the three performance going to fall on now? LeBron had 7 turnovers. Austin Reeves had 4. Anthony Davis had 2. Those three, your 3 best players, combined for majority of the turnovers. I don't want to I don't try to be negative on this podcast. I really don't. Because I love talking about basketball. I love just being able to talk about my love of the game. But this is bad, man. This is not good. Simple as that. So, Lakers, figure it out. Tuesday, we only got 2 games. Actually, no, we have 3. Sorry. We have 3. First game up, the Atlanta Hawks defeat the Phoenix Suns 122-117. Trae Young leads the way, 43 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Onyeka Okongwu, 22 points, 21 rebounds, and Vit Krejci, shout out my boy Ben Britton. Ben, what do you want on the pod? 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Hawks are legit. I'm going to say it. I'm going to get on the bandwagon early. They're a legit team. This was without Jalen Johnson. He's been out for the past couple of games. And when you look at this team, they are a lot of fun to watch. In this game, DeAndre Hunter and Jalen Johnson didn't play. But Garrison Matthews, 19 points off the bench. Vit Krejci, big game. Dyson Daniels continues to be the great barrier thief. Bojan Bogdanovic, 9 points off the bench. Clint Capella, 8 rebounds off the bench. They're playing winning basketball. They're taking care of the ball. They're rebounding well. And they're just a fun team. Like, Trae Young, if you need to become a better playmaker, better point guard, watch Trae Young. If you want to become a better defender, watch Dyson Daniels. If you want explosive forward/wings, watch DeAndre Hunter and watch Jalen Johnson. I'm big on the Hawks. I think they're a very talented team. I really do. So shout out to them. Shout out to Quinn Snyder. But the reason why I picked this game is because of the losers. Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, 31 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Unreal game from KD. Devin Booker, 35 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Unreal game from Devin Booker. In reality, that is where I should stop. But I'm not. Because Devin Booker had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists on 33% shooting. It's not good. It's not. Ryan Dunn had 14 points. Other than that, nobody else had more than 9. I understand there's issues. Yusuf Nurkic isn't playing really at all, and he hasn't been playing well. There's the Bradley Beal speculation on if he's going to waive his no trade clause so he can go to Miami possibly. And there's also the trade that they just made, Josh Okogie and 3 second rounders for Nick Richards, center, with the Hornets, and a second rounder as well. I don't think that trade solves their issues. I really don't. I think that they have too much stuff going on. I do think that they need to get rid of Beal. I don't really think, I see too much stuff that says, hey, KD, D-Book, and Jimmy Butler is a championship team. I do. I see too much of it. Because guess what? Those people are lying to you. They aren't a championship team. Because guess what? And I get injuries were a reason why this happened. But I thought the Nets were a championship team. KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. I thought the first iteration of the Suns were a championship team without Bradley Beal. I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, Jimmy Butler will not get the same amount of touches that he will, or that he does now, compared to what he would in Phoenix. In reality, you would have to give up Bradley Beal and probably one other piece. You honestly might even have to give up Ryan Dunn. I don't think so, but maybe. But, you lose another bench piece. That ain't good. It's not good. I think the Suns are truly in a disaster spot. They're not going to get rid of KD. They're not going to get rid of Book. They're probably going to get rid of Bradley Beal if he really wants out. There's just his locker room issues. They're trying to make trades to make a fix of it. I don't know if it will. One of the most talented rosters. And a lot of it has to do with their big three. And you're telling me they can't even Really? I'll say it. That's embarrassing. Those are an embarrassment right now. And if you think otherwise, then I don't know what you're watching. You have two top 15 players in the league, and another guy who, when he is playing well, is top 40. And all I have heard, the Suns are really good this year. This is the Suns' year. The Suns are going to be contenders. You guys got swept by a rising Minnesota team. Contenders? Get out of the first round. Like, God forbid. What are you talking about? Next game up, the Cavs defeated the Pacers 127-117. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Cavs shot well. That was the difference maker in this one. It really was. You can sit here and say, oh, well, the Pacers also didn't shoot as well. Yeah, they didn't. You also took care of the ball better. Instead of shooting 27% from three, you shot 34%. That's winning. It's winning basketball. You also shot 48% from the field, which is a lot better than the less than 40% than what it was. And that's the thing with the Cavs. And also just the expectations of wanting to be a championship team. It has never been, we need you to play at perfect level the entire season. It is, hey, there are going to be games where we aren't going to shoot well. There are going to be games where we shoot the lights out. Greg Popovich put it best. There are going to be 10 games that you can do nothing wrong, and there's going to be 10 games that you can't do anything right. What you do with the other 62 games is what matters most. Cavs got one of their 10 the night before, or on Monday night. Sunday night, sorry. They responded back well. They got one of those 62. And they won. Simple as that. For the Pacers, or I didn't even go over the stats. Donovan Mitchell, 35 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Evan Mobley, 22 points, 13 rebounds. Darius Garland, 24 points, 7 assists. And Pascal Siakam, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Nick Mathurin, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And Andrew Nembhard, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals. Just a really good game. Simple as that. I already talked enough about these two teams. Let's move on. The Nuggets defeated the Dallas Mavericks 118-99. Jamal Murray with a huge performance, 45 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Nikola Jokic with a quiet triple-double, 10 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. And Michael Porter Jr., 13.6 rebounds, 2 assists. Yeah, just Jamal Murray woke up, and he's waking up. I think a huge game for him was that Celtics game where they very much stayed in it. And I think a lot of it did have to do with Russell Westbrook's performance, who, by the way, has been playing unreal this season for the Nuggets. A lot of it had to do with like, hey, Jokic isn't here, so wake up. And he woke up. He was hitting his turnaround mid-range shots. Sure, he wasn't as effective from three. But I mean, in this game alone, when you go 18 of 26 from the field and 5 of 9 from three, and you only take 4 free throws, it's pretty good. That's really good, in fact. They only had 3 double-digit scorers, but thankfully one of them had 45. The Nuggets have really redeemed themselves after a slow start. They're back to 4th in the West. I wasn't concerned at all. I was more so just kind of perplexed that the start that they had was happening more than anything. I do think that they are a threat in the West, no doubt about it. It is more so I think Murray will show up in the playoffs. We know Jokic will, Michael Porter Jr. It is just the fact of, will Aaron Gordon be there, and will it be a little bit stretched too thin kind of situation? So I don't know. I think that's what the real question is. I don't know if they're going to make a move at the deadline anymore, but if they did, then I think it would be pretty helpful for sure. For the Mavericks, Kyrie Irving, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals. Quentin Grimes, 10 points, 5 assists, 3 steals. And Daniel Gafford, 13 and 4. Not a good game for the Mavericks. They didn't shoot well. They shot less than 30% from 3 on 32 attempts. Turned the ball over a little bit. Actually, not as much as the Nuggets, but just weren't hitting shots. Simple as that. And it's a make shots league. It's as simple as that. There's the obvious like defense wins championships, 100%. Defense helps you win championships. But we are in the stage of the highest precedent of offensive importance in NBA history. Like, we have never looked at offense as the priority, or as like the Pacers are the best example. They said, "Hey, you can hit your shots, but the moment you miss, that's when we take over. We are going to be a high octane, high speed offense. For every for every miss you have, we are going to take 2 makes. We are going to get 2 makes." That's just the way that they funnel. It's the way they run their club. We are going to outrun you, and we are going to outscore you. Perfect offense beats perfect defense. Good offense does not beat good defense. Great offense has a chance against great defense, but perfect offense beats perfect defense. It's just how it is. Just how it is. Offense is the name of the game. I know that they were without Luka, but you can't have a performance when you want to win when Kyrie shoots 22%, or PJ Washington shoots 2 of 10, or Klay Thompson shoots 3 of 8. I know this was just a rough patch game, but it is what it is. You got to just let it go. You got to move on. The moment you do that, the faster you're able to keep going. All right, everybody, buckle in. Talking Wednesday games. The Toronto Raptors defeated the Boston Celtics 110-97. Shout out the Raptors. Great game for them. RJ Barrett, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Jakob Poeltl, 16 points, 11 rebounds. Scotty Barnes, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. They executed their game plan perfectly. They ran the ball. They're one of the fastest teams in the NBA. They moved the ball up and down the floor very quickly. They contained, they forced shooting, and they scored in the paint very effectively. Great job to the Raptors. RJ Barrett, 57% shooting, or 56% shooting. Jakob Poeltl, 100%. Scotty Barnes, 50%. Davion Mitchell, 67%. Let's just double check. I think in the third quarter alone, they shot 74% from the field. Yeah, it's going to win you a basketball game. Yeah, okay. Here are my thoughts on the Celtics. I'm not concerned. I'm not at all, actually. There are so many things that you can attribute losses to. Poor shooting, poor playmaking, poor ball handling, poor rebounding, poor coaching, poor execution in the clutch, whatever it is. The fact of the matter is this: the Celtics are not shooting well. In the last, I think it's the last 5 games in which they are 2-3, the 3 losses being a choke, aka just an offensive collapse against the Oklahoma City Thunder, a fourth quarter disaster class where they gave up against the Kings, and then this one against the Raptors. They are last in the NBA in 3-point shooting. Now, I'd also like to bring your attention to this. If the Celtics shot the way that they usually shoot from 3, I don't think that really ends up being the difference. It is the aspect in which they shot the 2. What is so interesting to me is the fact that the reason why they got out to such a hot start and why people were questioning why they were breaking basketball, or if they were breaking basketball, was the fact that they were taking 55% of their shots from 3, and they were making them at about a 40% clip. Yeah, that's going to win you games, for sure. If you're taking 50 shots from 3 and 20 of those, say if you get 100 shot attempts a game, hypothetically, just for the sake of this hypothetical, you get 100 shots, right? 55% of those are from 3. You're making 40. That's 22. Times 3, that's 66. And then say you make about 50% of the other ones. Your next 45, you make 50% of them. That's about 22, 23. So that's another, let's go on the lower end. That's another 44 points. That's an auto 110 points. Now, if you also accounted for fact of free throws, if you took the average amount of free throws that the Celtics take per game, which I don't know exactly, honestly. Let's say it's 15. That's 125 points per game. That would be an average 125 points per game. That is ridiculous. Okay? Sorry for the sidetracking. Players aren't hitting their shots. It's as simple as that. When players don't hit their shots, they get discouraged, they get lackadaisical at times on defense, and I understand the defense hasn't been great as of late. I am aware. But guess what? This is still the same team as last year. It is 1,000%. The only thing is they have succeeded the mountain. They have climbed it. They reached the top. They reached Valhalla. The tough part is they got to do it again. Now, it's easy to manipulate things. When you look at the Celtics and you say, hey, they're 7-7 in the last 14. Well, guess what? If you want to reduce the sample size to 8, they're 5-3. That's a winning record. In fact, that's a pretty good winning percentage. Okay? It's 62.5. So let's do this. Let's play the game of, hey, I'm a Celtics fan. Would you rather take this team that went to the NBA Finals last year, that went to the NBA Finals in 22, that was a Jason Tatum twisted ankle to probably competing a 3-0 comeback against the Miami Heat and maybe going on to defeat the Denver Nuggets. Let's think about this. Would you want to get rid of the coach that created one of the most potent offenses in the last 2 seasons and brought you out of offensive purgatory with Ime Udoka? The one that also won you a championship last season? No, I think we'll keep him. Do you want to get rid of the guy who's one of the best 2 guards in the NBA and is also the winner of the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the Finals MVP? And I don't care if Jason Tatum played better, which he did. But guess what? Unfortunately, media members have agendas and they're trying to push them. So should we get rid of him? No, I don't think so. Should we get rid of the all-NBA second-team defender who also propelled us to basically be the MVP of the series against Miami, who also was one of our most valuable assets at guarding Kyrie Irving and Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton and Tyler Hero throughout the entirety of the playoffs last season? I don't think so. Yeah, let's stop overreacting, okay? We are at the 40-game mark. We are 28-12. 2012. Okay? Nobody's perfect. Fun fact, the Warriors team with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, you know that team? The team that went back-to-back? Yeah, those guys. They went 67-15 in their first season together. That's ridiculous. You know what they went next season? 59-23. The Lakers, the repeat Lakers in the 80s, 67-15. You know what they went next year? 58-24. Even Michael Jordan's Bulls took a step down. Nobody is perfect. When you climb the mountain, you don't instantly get back to the mountain. If I were to tell you, hey, Celtics are second in the Eastern Conference, would you be worried? Take out everything else that you know. Would you be worried? Probably not. No. Probably not. Sure. Are they playing up to the standards that they should be? No. And I agree with that. But nobody's going to get fired. Nobody's going to get traded. Do I think we should make a move maybe for Javonte Green? Maybe. I wouldn't be mad. Walker Kessler? I wouldn't be mad. But here's the thing. The defensive rotations aren't great. I'm not going to deny that. But it's the fact that we aren't shooting well. So let's go through these last 5 games. Thunder game. The Celtics shot less than 20% from 3. Okay. The Nuggets game. The Celtics shot 34% from 3. The Kings game, 27% from 3. Pelicans game, 29% from 3. And last night against the Raptors, 35% from 3. Now, if the Celtics were shooting like 40% from 3 in all 5 of those games, you know what all of those are? Blowout wins. But guess what? Unfortunately, they aren't. Derek White isn't shooting well. But guess what? Just like the Alfred that he is, he may not always be on time, but he will show up. Peyton Pritchard is finding his shot again. Drew Holiday is going to snap out of it soon, okay? Jaylen Brown, sure, he put on muscle. But so what? You don't win as a team and then lose because of one player. Yeah, one player could have a mistake. But let's also look at the fact of this. To all the people that say Jason Tatum is the super team. Jason Tatum had the fourth worst shooting percentage last night, behind Jaylen Brown, who had one more attempt, Sam Hauser, and Derek White. Like, I'll never understand this fan base. I never will. And I'm a part of it. Okay? There are so many things that you can look at and say, hey, the Celtics are this. Well, guess what? They're the second best team in the East. As of right now, in terms of record. There's nothing else you can say to that. Okay? It's a lull. It's a mid-season draw. Like, there's no need for the energy is about to shift tweet. There's no need for certain things. The worst part is 90% of it ends up being the voices of a 20-something-year-old. And I know that's ironic for me to say, but at least I understand certain things. We are in the midst of Boston fans' worst nightmare. If the Celtics didn't win the championship last season, do you understand how miserable this city would be? The New England Patriots just went 4-13 and missed out on the number one pick to possibly rebuild their future with. The Boston Red Sox don't want to spend the money to possibly get a winning team. And the Boston Bruins aren't playing well. So what are we doing? We're all putting our eggs in one basket and saying, hey, Boston Celtics, go win another. And if you don't, we're all going to chop our heads off. You know that team that everybody says is like the greatest team of all time? Roster-wise. That's Steph, Clay, KD, Draymond, Zaza Pachulia team. Yeah. They lose games. They lost games. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going for the win record book. Nobody is. Okay? Get out of your head. Be a Celtics fan. Stop cussing. Stop complaining about so much. I get it. It sucks. It sucks to lose. But one of my best friends is from Michigan. He is a Lions fan, a Pistons fan, a Red Wings fan, a Tigers fan. I'm enjoying him seeing the fruits of his labor of being a fan of the Detroit Lions. Yeah, it sucks if your team makes it and comes up short. We made it. We made it to the mountaintop and we succeeded. But guess what? New season, you restart. You don't just instantly get put back up there. You got to go through it. So, Celtics Twitter, here's my final message. Grow up. You know where this team was 10 years ago? Phil Pressey, Tyler Zeller, Kelly Olynyk, Jonas Jerebko, Amir Johnson, Brandon Bass. Like, holy shit. Put your pants on and grow up. Like, God forbid we lose a game. I get it. I'm not saying the Raptors are the Cavs or the Thunder, but it's not the playoffs don't start tomorrow. They start in 3 months. So stop being like an ostrich. Get your head out of your ass. Just watch the team. If you have an issue with it, if you don't like the usage percentage of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown takes too many shots. Shut up. It's a rut. It's a cold spout. God forbid people be human and miss a shot. Like, I get it. I tweet a lot. Do you understand how easy it is to hide behind your Twitter fingers? And just like, well, the team needs to do this. Oh, I'm at Jay's Got Next on Twitter. Oh, I need this to happen. Fire Missoula. Trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. No, grow up. The grass is not always greener on the other side. They're not going to ruin the foundation of this team just because some Twitter losers say, I think this should happen. If you think that should happen, go apply to be the fucking GM. Go apply for Brad Stevens' job. By the way, he knows so much more basketball than you do. Grow up. One more game from the Wednesday slate. The Golden State Warriors defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 116-115. Curry led the way, 31 points, 1 rebound, 8 assists, and 1 steal. Andrew Wiggins, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. And Buddy Hield, 18 points, 1 rebound, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Before I get into the game, I was pretty perplexed the Steph Curry comments in regards to winning now and kind of saying that he doesn't think that they need a trade, where I would disagree. If you had asked him probably after they went 12-3, then I think it's fair to say that you wouldn't need it. But they are back around to being 500 and not really doing that great. So I do think that they would benefit from getting another piece. Who that piece would be, I don't know. But I mean, just a big win for them. Just going like a needed win. And sure, the Timberwolves haven't been playing to the level that they should be playing at, but it is what it is. Simple as that. But I'm just pulling up the stats here. As a team, 50% from three. This was a offensive shootout between two very good teams. No Kuminga, no Draymond Green, no Podziemski. Just Steph Curry being Steph Curry leading the way. For the Timberwolves, I don't know. I still don't know why they made that trade. I understand why, just to try and clear up some cap space. But we're talking about a team that went to the Western Conference Finals last season. Like, you go to the Western Conference Finals and you decide, hey man, I don't know if this team is really the one for me. I don't know if this guy who really stretches the floor for us and says, hey, I can hit down the clutch shot at the buzzer from three if needed. I can drive, I can dribble, I can play pretty well. I also play make on a dime from here and there. You're gonna just let him go? For a guy who is the two-step down version of that? Like, I think there are just a lot of issues with Minnesota going on. Monte DiVincenzo, though, led them in this one, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 1 steal. Jaden McDaniels, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Anthony Edwards, 28 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block on 37% shooting. I think a lot of their issues just are coming from, there will be nights where Ant is on fire, can't miss, and then nobody else shows up, and then there are the other nights where just mediocre play throughout. Where last year they were very much finding their rhythm and were able to have that balance of like, hey, I'm Anthony Edwards, I'm scoring 30 points, and I also have multiple guys off the bench or just not directly the true stars who are also contributing very well and now have expectations and they're coming up short. So yeah, just big win from the Warriors this one. Final game on the docket, and then we're gonna get out of here, wrap it up, and I'm going to go to bed, was the Thunder versus Cavs game from tonight. The Thunder defeated the Cavs 134-114. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the way, 40 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. Jalen Williams, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Lou Dort, 22 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win MVP. That's just my thoughts as of now. Darius Garland, 20 points. Jared Allen, 13.7 rebounds. Ty Jerome, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Those are the only double-digit scores for the Cavs tonight. Craziest part about this, in reality, was no Chet, no Isaiah Hartenstein for the Thunder. Like, I think that's just how the Thunder win. Is just such balance, such like follow the leader mentality. Like SGA is their source, and he creates so much gravity that he allows open shots, open opportunities for other players, and that's what wins them the game. If they hit their shots, if they make their moments, if they make the plays that they need to, then they're going to win those games. And it also, it doesn't really hurt when you only give up 6 turnovers and you force 21 of them. So that kind of helps. They had 21 fast break points in comparison to Cleveland's 8. So yeah, pretty good. For the Cavs, didn't really shoot that great. Simple as that. One team shot over 50% on 105 attempts. The other shot 46% on 90 attempts. That's just losing basketball compared to winning basketball. So those are my thoughts on that game. Pretty quick, but yeah. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. I will see you all next Tuesday for episode 21 of Triple Threat Talk. This was episode 20. I'm just reiterating things at this point. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Talkin' Triple. I would say follow me on TikTok, but that thing looks out of here pretty soon. It was fun while it lasted. Please like and subscribe. Follow me if you want more content. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer them to you. Player of the day. Texted my brother about this the other day. James Posey. Miss you, King. Anyways, have a good one, everyone. I will see you later. Peace.